I want to talk about something very important, something very timely. And of course, that is Ghost Recon Breakpoint. It's only been a couple years since it came out, and I think it's time to review it. So I recently got it on sale, and I had Microsoft reward points, so I was able to get the game for free. And I still feel ripped off. This game is absolutely baffling. I found The Witness to be less confusing than Ghost Recon Breakpoint. So in The Witness, you start off in a hallway, and there's a door in front of you that you have to walk up to, and you have to figure out how to open it up. The game doesn't tell you how to open up the door. You just have to figure out how to open up the door. And it's very easy to figure it out. And then once you figure that out, you get let out into the world, and you get another puzzle, and another one, and each one builds on the previous one. Ghost Recon Breakpoint, it has objective markers everywhere. It tells you exactly what to do at every single moment, and despite that, I had no clue what I was supposed to be doing. I didn't have the slightest idea. I was just utterly confused. I felt like it was the 90s again, and I just got a new DOS game. And the instruction man, I read through the entire instruction manual, and I turned the game on, and I don't even know which jiggling pixels are me. That's what it feels like playing Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And it is utterly bizarre the way they give out missions. So after you go through like the tutorial missions, I think they were tutorial missions, you go to a social hub, and now I want you to realize that you're supposed to be like trapped on this island alone, and there's a social hub filled with other soldiers. And this is something that's been happening with Ubisoft games, where it seems as though the people who work on the game have no clue what the game is supposed to be. And I don't mean that in a creative sense. I mean they literally don't know what game they're working on. And so they just put stuff into the game that they think is how the game works, but it doesn't work that way. But anyway, once you go to the social hub, your map just has missions and icons vomited all over it. And it's really bizarre because I swear some of the missions are like you get mission 1 and there's another one that's mission 6. But there's no mission like 3. Where'd mission 3 go? Why do I have 1, 6, 4, 8? Where's the other? Why aren't these in order? Why are numbers so confusing? And it does something that Immortals Phoenix Rising or Phoenix Rising Immortals does, where you whip out your binoculars and you look around like this until you look at something and a circle fills up and it tells you what's there. And they did that because in Breath of the Wild kind of did that, except you had to figure out what was there all on your own. And Ubisoft thinks all their players are idiots. And also, Ubisoft level design is awful. It's because if you could look at something in an Ubisoft game and you had no clue if it's important or not, if there's anything there at all. And well, I shouldn't say that because in an Ubisoft game there's never anything anywhere of value. But anyway, you do that, and no matter where you are, you will find hundreds of icons to pop up on your map. And they just keep vomiting out no matter what. No matter how long you play this game, you are just going to get endless icons just constantly vomited onto your map. Non-stop the entire time. Even when you think you finished the game, you are just going to get more icons. And what are at these icons? I have no clue. I've been to the icons, I've gotten stuff at the icons, I've gotten things there, but what's supposed to be there, I don't know. I don't have the slightest clue. The game even tells you what's supposed to be there, and I guess I picked up the things because they gray out, but most of the time I'll pick everything up and I won't notice that I picked up the things that the map says were there, but then the map says I got them. And I'll look in the inventory. Sometimes I do have the items that I don't remember getting, but sometimes I don't. And I don't know why. It's very confusing. And sometimes the map just doesn't tell you what's there. It just says, here's a thing, and there's a chest here or something like that. And you go there, and oh, there's a chest. And what's in it? It's the same thing you can get from any enemy. So what was the point of that? I guess they did it. They did that because other Ubisoft games have chests, and they also wanted Ghost Recon Breakpoint to be an action RPG for some reason. And a lot of RPGs have chests in them. And they said, well, we need to have chests in our game. And somebody said, what should we put in them? I don't know. I guess we'll put weapons in them or something, and pants. But you can get weapons and pants anywhere. We don't have anything else to put into the chest. Then we got nothing to put into the chest. Nothing at all. So why do we even have the chest then? Because other games have chests. Other games like this have chests. That's why they're angry. Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Other games have chests, so this one has to have them too. Let me tell you something about the RPG system. That was completely pointless. And even the developers knew it was completely pointless because they added a mode to remove the RPG system. You can turn it on whenever you want. You can turn it on and off whenever you feel like. And it has absolutely no effect on anything. So that should tell you how important this RPG system is, that you can just turn it off whenever you feel like, and it won't mean anything. It has zero effect on the gameplay or what you do. So they wasted a lot of time implementing it. They could have just not done it in the first place, and that would have been great. They could have saved a lot of time and effort. And speaking of time and effort, when I first started the game, the weirdest thing happened. I think it was the lead of the game. There's a video of him talking about the game I was about to play. And he was telling me all the awesome things that were in the game. I've never seen that before. And it's really weird. And I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they wasted their time doing that. It's just weird. Let me tell you about the first mission. I didn't play this game for very long because I was utterly baffled. I'll tell you about one. I'm going to say the first mission. I don't know if it's the first mission. I have no clue what the first mission is. I don't even know what order the missions are in, because you'll get missions just seemingly out of order. But I got a mission to escape the island, and I guess maybe I missed some descriptive text or something, because when I get to the place, I'm not really escaping the island. It turns out this is like a refugee point where other people are escaping, which I guess makes sense because I'm escaping too, although they really didn't say anything about that. Like, it's just that these people are there, well, just two people, and there's a boat that supposedly has people on it. And you can tell because there's an audio file of people talking or going blah, 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 not really talking, just making noises. And I get there, and there's these two people there, this weird-looking guy and his kid, and we talk about a whole bunch of stuff, and then a whole bunch of drones come out of the forest. And they attack a ship that I didn't know was there, because it wasn't there when I got there. It just appeared for the cutscene. And it blows up the ship for some reason, which I don't know why. I still don't have the slightest clue why it blew it up. And then the cutscene ends, and I'm expecting to fight these drones, because the drones are right there, and they attack the ship, and I'm right there. So clearly they're going to attack me. No, they're just completely gone now. The cutscene's done, the drones are completely gone. Instead, I get attacked by like a couple of people, and the mission's over. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't have the slightest clue what happened. Why did these drones come out of the forest to attack the ship? I don't know. This guy said a whole lot of stuff. Like, he said a lot of stuff, and I listened to all of it. I still don't have the slightest clue what was going on. And why did the drones attack the ship? Why did the drone just fly away? Why did these people just attack me for... I think they're supposed to be the enemy. But if they were the enemy, why was it just a couple people? And why did they just stop coming? Why didn't the drones attack me? And, oh yeah, I totally forgot. This This game is so baffling that I forget so many things. We were going to leave the island to go warn the USS something. It was a carrier or something. And I'm just thinking, why do we need to do that? We were being dropped off by helicopters. So wouldn't the fact that none of these helicopters came... By the way, the helicopters all got blown up in a beginning cutscene. I forgot about that. Aren't the fact that these helicopters not coming back going to be concerning to this aircraft carrier? Is the fact that they can't speak to anybody on the island concerning at all to them? Apparently not, because the only way they're going to know there's a problem is if I get off the island to tell them, which I don't. And I just don't. I thought maybe, like, what were they going to do with the helicopters? And by the way, I do get helicopters. You can fly helicopters in this game. I could just fly off the island if I want to. I didn't find out what would happen if I tried that. I can get boats too. So I just don't know what this aircraft carrier is doing out there. It must be they must be as confused as I was. You're probably as confused as me trying to listen to me talk and look at this face. Because I am absolutely baffled right now. Like, I had to go play The Witness because that game is easier to understand than Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Like, I can get through most of The Witness just fine without a problem. And if you've never played The Witness, it's a very, very cool puzzle game. And somehow this complex puzzle game where absolutely nothing is explained is easier to understand than a game where every single thing is explained. Oh, what else about this terrible, terrible game? The terrible game being Ghost Recon Breakpoint, not The Witness. The Witness is awesome. Go play that instead. I want to talk about the AI partners. You can just turn them off, which is the best way to do it because they're totally useless, completely worthless, except for one thing. They have the ability to just kill every single enemy. Just all of them. And you don't have to really do much of anything. All you have to do is tell them to shoot these enemies, and they'll do it. And you can just do it to all of them, and the enemies won't even know what's happening. And there's a very short cooldown on this ability. They call it Sync Shot. And so you can just clear out an entire enemy camp just by telling your AI guys to shoot them all. I don't understand why this is in the game. This does not make any sense. What could have possibly made the designers think that an ability to just kill all the enemies was a good idea? To just kill them all instantly, 4 at a time. I don't get that. What were they thinking? They were thinking, guys, our game is just way too hard, which it isn't. What should we do? Hey, I know. Let's just have the AI just die. You know what? That's what they should have done. This, like, if the AI sees you, they should just die. That'd be so much easier than having to look at the enemy, because apparently that's the difficulty here. The difficulty they expected here for the players, like they expected the players to be so bad that they would have had difficulty looking at the enemy, because that's the only possible way you could have any difficulty when using Sync Shot. But thankfully, you can just turn the AI off. What else about this terrible game? I didn't play it for very long, unfortunately, because I hated it. I hated this awful, awful, awful game. The weapons suck. Everything about this game sucks. There are... Oh yeah, the camera just would not stay where I put it. It was just constantly flipping shoulders, just constantly. I'll be just walking along and then, whoop, there goes the camera. Sometimes it's because it would hit a wall. And apparently the people who made Ghost Recon Breakpoint had never played a third-person shooter in their entire life, and they didn't know how to deal with that. So they just had the camera shift over to the other shoulder, and it just stays there forever until it doesn't, until for no reason at all it just switches back. Sometimes I'm just out in the forest. There's nothing around me, and I'll be running around, and I suddenly noticed that the camera has moved to the other side. And they knew this was a problem. They knew this was a huge problem because they dedicated a button to move the camera back and forth. This isn't the only game to have that problem. Horizon Zero West, or whatever it's called on the PlayStation, they had the same exact problem with the camera constantly flipping back and forth between the shoulders. And they also had a button to fix it. If your camera system sucks so bad that you need a button dedicated to fixing which shoulder the camera's on, you need to fix your camera system. It is the year of our Todd, 2022. There are a lot of third-person shooters that you can go play right now that deal with these camera problems in a much better way. For one thing, they don't constantly flip the camera back and forth. Imagine if while I was making this video, I just kept doing this. Wouldn't that be annoying? Because that's what happens in the game. It's just constantly this, and it's so annoying. And maybe I'll do this for the rest of the video. Maybe I'll give all of you like motion sickness. I won't do that. I won't give you motion sickness unless you don't like me, then I hope you threw up from that. But if you like me, I hope you didn't throw up. What else? There's this, you have the ability when you're sniping to hold your breath in the game. In every single game I have ever played, there is a dedicated button to holding your breath. And on console, that button is normally pressing in the right stick. And you might wonder, how in the world could somebody screw that up? What possible way could you screw up pressing a button? Well, they decided that was just way too complicated for players. So here's what you have to do. Let me get my Xbox controller. Let me pick it up. And by the way, it is hooked up to a USB cable, so I don't have to worry about the batteries. Deal with it. A lot of people on the Xbox forum subreddit were very, very angry that I have my Xbox controller plugged into a USB cord. I don't know why. Anyway, here's how to hold your breath when you're sniping. You aim, and then you do this. You do this, watch, like this. Now I'm holding my breath. Do this. Oh, and the way it works is that it doesn't work at all. So you do this. If you do not do it the exact correct distance, it will not work. If you do it too little, you're going to hold your breath. If you let go too much, it stops aiming. I don't understand how they managed to screw up with such a simple concept as holding the breath. Like, did they think that they needed to gamify holding your breath? Like, I can hold my breath just fine. I'm very, very gamery, so I can't hold my breath for a long time. Was that complicated? I want you to hold your breath right now. Was it as complicated as I was showing you? No, it wasn't. Somehow they managed to screw up holding your breath. And you might think, hey, Mr. Catman, why didn't you just change it in the controls? And that's what I wanted to do. I went into the controls to change it. And you know what those game developers decided to do? You can't set the hold breath button separately from the aim button. They have to be the same ones. I just don't understand how they managed to screw it up that badly. It's like they went out of their way to screw it up. Was it a joke? It must have been a joke on the player to screw up holding your breath that badly, because I thought it was hilarious. I literally laughed so hard. Sadie, my cat, came in here and bit me because I was laughing too hard. That's how funny it was that I had so much trouble holding my breath in the game. Let's see what other terrible things about this game. I did mention the icon vomit, and when you go to the icons, I think I mentioned that you go to the chest, and I didn't mention the fact that there's really no reason to go to any of these icons at all. There's no point to go to them, because there's nothing there ever. It is just like a concrete building. You go in there, pick up the item that you can get anywhere else, and you're done there. I just don't get it. I don't understand why they did that. I'm angry with rage right now. I uninstalled the game because it was I was just so bad. Ghost Recon Breakpoint is such a bad game. It is just awful. I I tried to suffocate myself and my cat. It was so bad. I didn't want that memory anymore. That was in bad taste. Don't suffocate yourself with your cat or your dog. There's so many bad things about this game. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else that's terrible. Oh, on Xbox Series X and S, there's a quick resume feature, but it doesn't work with Ghost Recon Breakpoint. But they didn't disable it, which the developers can do. If you use the quick resume feature, which means you go out of the game, start another game, and you come back, the entire the game just restarts. And it takes longer to quick resume and Ghost Recon Breakpoint than to quit the game and start it normally. That's how badly they managed to screw up this game. They managed to make quick resume slower than starting the game up from scratch. Quick resume is supposed to take a couple of seconds. They managed to make it take longer than just starting up the game. Like if you started up your Xbox cold, got into the game, it would take you, and quick resume was on, it would take you longer to play it than if you had started your Xbox up cold and then the game and gotten it to play. And that's how badly they screwed it up. I need to stress how badly they screwed this up. Quick resume is just an OS layer feature of the Xbox. The developers don't have to do anything to support it. And clearly, Ghost Recon Breakpoint proved to Microsoft that no matter how idiot-proof they make a feature, there is a game developer who's going to screw it up. And they screwed it up real bad. Now the reason it screws up is because there is a pointless online feature. I have no clue what it does. Because whenever I went in with quick resume, it said trying to contact the server, which it couldn't do. I don't know why. I don't know what server it was connecting to because I was not playing online. There are other multiplayer games that have this. Forza Horizon 5, I was playing a lot. And it also has always online if you opt into it, which I do. Well, you have to opt out to not be in it because it's on by default. And if you quick resume, it won't be able to connect to the server at first because I guess because it thinks it's when you like hours ago when you last played or something. But then it just connects to the server and you're online. And you're not forced to sit at a screen waiting to connect. You can still play the game while it's trying to connect. So I don't understand why Ubisoft screwed it up so bad when other multiplayer games had no problem dealing with this. I'm out of breath. I'm so angry. I'm sorry for flying off the handle like that. What other terrible things about Ghost Recon Breakpoint are there? Oh, the voice acting is terrible. I've noticed that in way too many games where everybody else is perfectly cromulent voice acting, but the main character just sounds bored. And it sounds like if they brought me in to do voice acting. Bring me to do voice acting. I need a job. Let me do voice acting. Here, let me give you... Actually, I emote too much for voice acting in the Ubisoft game, so they wouldn't be able to hire me. Let me give you an example of how they do it. Hello. I see you have a gun. Can I have that gun? Okay, I don't want that gun then. Hey, my guys got shut up. What are you gonna help me? I need some help because my guys got shut up. Oh, one of the guys that got shot up are over there. You found them? Oh, sorry, I did my voice too up. I got fired again from Ubisoft. We'll try that again. You found one of my guys that got shut up. Okay, let's go see. Hey there, you got shut up. I'm glad you're here instead of dead. You're doing such a good job laying there on the bed. You get better now. Goodbye. And that was just a taste of it, because this would have gone on for like 20 minutes if you don't skip everything. Of them just being monotone and bored. Well, I guess this video got long enough. If anybody wants me to complain about a particular video game, leave a comment below. Tell your friends that I'll complain about any video game they want, even if I've never played it before. I'll watch a video and complain about it. And tell your friends to subscribe. I need attention.